Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Temperatures today fairly near normal, but more cold air up to our north and west comes sliding in the next 24 to 36 hours. I'll show you when the Arctic blast arrives and how cold it will be.
Playing it safe, why several local school districts decided to close or delay classes this morning.
And a neighborhood on edge. A Raleigh man faces charges for breaking into an apartment and threatening to kill the person inside.
So those temperatures will be near normal this afternoon, but tomorrow's front will deliver another Arctic blast for us. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at some bitter wind chills in the forecast.
Wait till you see what is coming our way in the next couple of days. We do have this front moving through, kicking out a lot of the clouds. Eventually, we're going to see our wind shifting to northwesterly. A second front comes through late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and that's going to send us a reinforcing shot of some colder temperatures. So right now, not bad. Temperatures are in the mid 40s with the sunshine that's out there. It's not feeling too bad out there. Of course, let's take another look at our temperature change. Right now, temperatures are on the cool side, but turning much colder, especially as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Tomorrow will be a little bit more of a transition type day, but by Wednesday morning, take a look at this. The temperature 18 in the morning as you're headed out the door to work and school, but it will feel like 6. Temperature 22 in the triangle, and it's going to feel more like 10, and then 24 in the Sandhills, feeling more like 16. So those wind chills are really going to be cold. We take a look around the viewing area Wednesday at 13 in Southern Pines, 14 Fayetteville, 12 in Rocky Mount, 10 in South Hills, we said. So really cold temperatures coming, but it doesn't last too long. We're going to see another pattern change by the weekend where we have rain, again, just rain. I'll show you why we'll warm back up coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Drivers faced a few remaining trouble spots on the roads this morning. Our northern counties were most affected, but Wake County did have its share of issues, and that includes at Apex High School. That's where we find WRAL's Eric Miller right now. Eric, parents were concerned about those conditions.
Renee, and a student we spoke with told us this morning when they were arriving there was ice everywhere out front of Apex High School. You can still see there are a couple of patches of snow out there. This afternoon, there's a whole lot of this salt spread everywhere by school employees trying to deal with this issue. You take a look at this video from Sky 5 here. You can see just how much salt they were having to lay down, trying to deal with those slick spots, those trouble spots as students were coming in. Now, Wake County Public Schools, they did not operate on any kind of delay here. They were starting school as normal. Even as many surrounding counties, including Orange and Durham, decided to operate on a 2-hour delay. Some, including Warren County, even deciding to cancel school today. Now, we've been speaking with Wake County Public Schools a lot over the last week over how they make these decisions. They tell us they do have a special weather team who takes a close look at these issues. They collaborate with transportation employees who are out assessing conditions in the wee hours to decide whether or not a delay is necessary. Obviously, looking at the conditions on the road, they decided not to delay today. Now, for surrounding counties, there was a special weather statement from the National Weather Service that was in place this morning due to icy conditions out there on the roads. Looking at conditions, though, this afternoon, the sun, the warmer temperatures you just heard Elizabeth talking about moving in will hopefully deal with any remaining issues this afternoon and into tomorrow. In Apex, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Subscribe to get WRAL News alerts during severe weather. You can get customized weather alerts on your phone straight from the WRAL News app. Download the app and you'll never be alone during severe weather.
A Raleigh man is facing charges for breaking into an apartment and threatening to kill the person inside. This happened near Ray Road in North Raleigh, and WRAL's Carly Haynes is live at that apartment complex. Carly, the neighbors there, they heard loud yelling and all that commotion.
They witnessed it. Neighbors, they tell us that the suspect had pulled into this parking spot and rammed his car into this vehicle next to him. You can still see the damage there. This is where he landed with those mud clumps in the dirt right here. Then he jumped to the curb and then went up to this unit. Take a listen.
Tori.
So just very scary for neighbors to witness, and of course for that person inside. This is cell phone video from that neighbor showing what happened when the suspect approached. We arrived at the complex as workers were boarding up the windows. Warren State Horacio Sousa used a knife to break into this home, then yelled at the person inside. Police charged Sousa with first-degree burglary and issuing threats. He also faces charges for reckless driving, impersonating an officer, and property damage. It's a scary moment for the people at this complex who say it's usually a calm place.
The guy just kept screaming at him, and then he started saying, like, I'm gonna kill you, like, just open the door. And then that's whenever he started breaking the glass.
We also know Sousa lives in this same apartment complex. Neighbors didn't know either the suspect or the victim very well. Sousa is currently being held without bond. He's going to be appearing in court in a little more than an hour, and we will be present for that appearance. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Durham police are questioning 5 people about an early morning chase. The WRAL breaking news tracker was at the Oxford Manor Apartments about 4:30 this morning. Police say they chased a car to that location after a carjacking. 4 people under the age of 18 and a woman were all taken to police headquarters. No word yet on any charges.
We're learning more about a shooting down east that left 3 people in one neighborhood dead. The suspected shooter is in custody. WRAL's Ken Smith is here now with new information following a news conference in Greenville. Ken.
Renee, the Pitt County Sheriff was clearly emotional and saddened by what she called a senseless act of violence. These are the names of the victims Sheriff Dance released just a short time ago. Enrique Reyes, as well as 80-year-old Anthony Gribble and his wife, 76-year-old Paula Gribble. 55-year-old David Lever is in custody, accused of going on a shooting spree in his neighborhood and killing 3 of his neighbors. In this morning's news conference, Sheriff Dance laid out a timeline about what started about 1:20 Friday afternoon. Sheriff Dance says most of Lever's movement and the locations where he opened fire are captured on door cameras. She says the carnage could have been much worse were it not for the son of the elderly couple who died.
At 2:17 p.m., Pitt County Sheriff's Office received a call in reference to a caller's parents having been murdered by David Lever at the residence at 2137 Peace Ridge Court. Deputies arrived to find Anthony and Paula Gribble dead from multiple gunshot wounds. At this time, David Lever was being held at gunpoint by the son of Anthony and Paula.
It's not clear how the Gribble son ended up at the home and ended up holding Lever at gunpoint. That is a question that we're posing to Sheriff Dance now. But she says the shooting spree actually began at a nearby speedway when Lever fired several shots and he left the gas station on his way back to his neighborhood. Of course, this is an ongoing investigation. Sheriff Dance says additional charges against Lever are pending. Look for updates on this story online on WRAL News Plus, the WRAL app, and of course in our news starting at 4.
Ken, thanks for that update. Police say weather was not a factor in an accident in Morrisville. Investigators say 2 vehicles crashed about 8:30 this morning on Chapel Hill Road in Morrisville. Sky 5 flew over that scene shortly after it happened. You can see the overturned vehicle there off to the side. 2 people have minor injuries. No word on who was at fault. A reminder to use extra caution on the roads this time of year. Drivers recovering after their vehicle struck a deer in Southern Pines. This happened just before 8 o'clock this morning on PD Road near Serpentine Road. Now, firefighters say a large deer crashed through the windshield on the passenger side and died. The driver was not seriously injured. Authorities say drivers should use caution at this time of year because deer may be on or near the roads.
Quite the damage there. Santa Ana winds are returning to California as firefighters struggle to gain headway. In the coming days, wind gusts expected to reach up to 70 miles per hour, and that will continue to spread the Eaton and Palisades fires. Officials say the death toll has now reached 24 and still expected to climb. Now, 6 days after the Palisades fire first began, the massive inferno is gaining new ground. Fire captains in nearby cities are warning their residents to be prepared.
Make sure that your go bag and all of your important documents, pictures, anything that you want to take with you, and if in the case that you have to evacuate, is readily accessible so you can put it in your car and leave at a moment's notice.
The National Guard is also pitching in to help slow the spread. However, their efforts are being hampered by unauthorized drones, including one that punched this hole in a Canadian super scooper. The FBI is now investigating.
This weekend, Los Angeles County officials extended a second invitation to President-elect Donald Trump to visit California's wildfire victims. The chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors sent an open letter to the incoming president imploring him to, quote, stand with the people of Los Angeles County. Trump also received a request from California's Governor Gavin Newsom Friday. No word on whether Trump will accept the invitations.
Next at noon, First Lady 2.0. Melania Trump explains why this term will be different than her first.
Also, problems in the rear view, how Tesla plans to handle hundreds of thousands of backup camera issues.
Plus, who won the seat? At 12:30, why the race for a North Carolina Supreme Court seat is still not settled.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
We're just 1 week away from President-elect Donald Trump's return to the Oval Office.
Senate confirmation hearings for his cabinet picks begin tomorrow, and Ryan Nobles reports those hearings are heating up now that Trump's legal issues are over.
The clock is ticking down to Trump 2.0. And this time around, Donald Trump has promised to create a cabinet that reflects his political movement.
Now we have a tremendous amount of experience. We have people that I can rely on.
But several of his picks have raised questions from the Senate Republicans that will need to vote to confirm them. And this week, many of these nominees will have to demonstrate that they're up to the job.
Yes, some of them are outside the box, but I do think we have the votes.
Over the course of 4 days, senators are expected to hear from more than 10 Trump cabinet picks. On Tuesday, Pete Hegseth, his selection to lead defense, will be on the hot seat and is expected to get questions about accusations of sexual assault, alcohol abuse, and financial mismanagement, allegations he denies. While Republicans have rallied around Trump's pick, many Democrats still have questions.
I think it's in our best interest to have everything put out on the table.
The confirmation hearings are heating up as Trump has put his legal trouble behind him. He was sentenced Friday in the New York hush money case without any penalty. The federal investigations into classified documents in January 6th were dropped after he won the election. It is unclear if the final reports by special counsel Jack Smith will ever be released to the public, but Smith himself informed the court last week that he has resigned his post. One issue still outstanding, whether the president-elect will pardon the Capitol rioters, including those convicted of violent crimes. Trump has said he would consider it.
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah.
Okay.
But yesterday, his vice president-elect, J.D. Vance, speaking out.
If you protested peacefully on January the 6th, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned.
Later posting that his remarks are, quote, not some walk back, and we care about people unjustly locked up, including people provoked.
That was Ryan Nobles reporting. Incoming First Lady Melania Trump sat down for an interview with Fox and Friends co-host Ainsley Earhardt. She talked about splitting her time between New York, the White House, and Palm Beach, her influence on the president-elect, as well as why this term will be different for her.
Maybe some people, they see me as just a wife of the president, but I'm standing on my own 2 feet, independent. I have my own thoughts. I have my own yes and no. I don't always agree what my husband is saying or doing, and that's okay.
Are you able to tell him when you disagree?
I gave him my advice, and sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't, and that's okay.
Melania Trump says she will continue her Be Best program, which focused on well-being for youth and advocated against cyberbullying. Today, President Biden is expected to propose a plan that would limit nicotine levels in cigarettes. The proposal is not expected to include tobacco products like e-cigarettes or nicotine replacement patches and lozenges. Studies have suggested that levels may have to be slashed by up to 95% to make cigarettes minimally or non-addictive.
And happening right now in the WRAL Life Center, General Hospital star Leslie Charlson has died. She played Dr. Monica Quartermine on the show. She died at the age of 79. And the show's executive producer, Frank Valentini, he posted on X, posting a picture of her writing, "Her enduring legacy has spanned nearly 50 years on General Hospital alone. I will miss our daily chats, her quick wit, and her incredible presence on set." Charlson appeared in more than 2,000 episodes of the show from 1977 until 2023.
More than 230,000 Tesla vehicles are being recalled due to potential rear-view camera issues. The recall affects the 2024-25 models 3 and S, as well as 2023 to 25 models X and Y. The vehicles could have a computer circuit board shortage that prevents the camera from displaying an image and increases the risk of a crash. Tesla plans to fix the issue through a software update. Notifications are set to go out in March 7th to be exact. Unsanitary conditions at a Boar's Head plant in Virginia caused a deadly outbreak of listeria. A total of 61 people across 19 states became ill in last year's outbreak. 10 people died. According to a report by the USDA, the plant had several incidents of noncompliance in proper sanitation, including product residue from the previous day's production on packaging equipment and in the processing area. The plant also had issues with condensation and structural problems. Boar's Head closed the plant last September. 12:17 is the time right now. As we take a look at sunshine behind us, that will help promote some thawing, but just for today before it cools off again.
Exactly. I mean, we kind of get into that cycle of melting and then the refreeze, all because of those cold temperatures, but sure looks pretty out there, Elizabeth.
It really does. You know, today's going to be a great day to get outside and enjoy some sunshine and some temperatures that are close to normal. Yesterday wasn't too bad, but we were still in the 40s. So this is likely to be the warmest day that we see for a while, especially a nice day with sunshine. I'm not sure that we really have that again in the 7-day forecast. It is 45 right now. Our dew point's 27, so it's fairly dry. We'll climb up to 52 at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we'll keep it in the 40s all the way through 7 o'clock. So even if you're going to be out and about this evening, it should still feel, I mean, on the comfortable-ish side. We're still talking about 40s. 45 in Fayetteville, 44 in Goldsboro and in Southern Pines, 46 Roxborough, 46 in South Hill. There's just something about that sunshine that, you know, really makes it feel pretty good out there. Let's talk about our next round of Arctic air. We're going to see that front coming through, and then eventually the Arctic air follows it. We had a front move through. It's almost through the area right now, which is why we started to clear, but we're going to get a reinforcing shot of that Arctic blast coming in during the day tomorrow, and we'll really feel it Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. That's going to be those will be the two coldest mornings that we see this week. So here's what we're looking at. 25 for tomorrow morning. So it will be colder. This morning we were mostly near freezing, so about 5 degrees colder for tomorrow morning, then 22 Wednesday, 20 on Thursday, and then we're back to 28 on Friday. It's all still cold. We take a look at our wind chill. Look at this. Ooh, it's fun to kind of put this up to, you know, 11 feels really, really cold, and so does 19, but -6 in Boone. I guess it could always be worse. -1 up in Roanoke, 15 in Greenville, 22 in Wilmington. So everybody is going to feel cold on Wednesday morning. We take a look at how that looks as we move a little closer in. Some of our specific towns here in our area: 9 in Roxborough, 10 in South Hill, 12 in Rocky Mount, 13 in Southern Pines. That's Wednesday morning, and then slightly warmer on Thursday, but not much. And this is the wind chill. So 16 in Roxborough, 25 Goldsboro, 18 in Durham. So really, really chilly. A couple days ago, we had all that snow out there. I love this from Warren County. Mark Klein sent us this picture. It really looks great. I mean, Warren County got 2 inches of snow, and it was well covered out there. If you have photos that you would love to share with us, please do. Go to WRAL.com/report it, and we will show as many of those as we can fit on television. Okay, so 52 today, 45 tomorrow, 39 on Wednesday. That's where we bottom out in the next 7 days, and then we start to see the temperatures climbing. Now, Friday we'll see a high of 53, similar to today, but we'll see increasing clouds because our next system is coming in to bring us some rain on Saturday and Sunday. I've had some people say, what are we going to see? It's definitely going to be rain this time. Temperature Saturday morning, 37. Overnight, Saturday night, it's 40 degrees. So this one's going to be a rain event for us. It does look cold again for the following week, though, and we'll talk a bit more about that in just a bit.
Yeah, with temperatures that high, no chance for snow there. All right, Elizabeth, thanks. New year, new diet. Triangle area restaurants are promoting a vegan challenge throughout this month. But going vegan isn't for everyone. Coming up at 4, what you need to know to stay healthy on a vegan diet.
And then at 5, is parenting unhealthy? The Surgeon General says it's become a public health issue. Might be the death of me, I don't know. Time will tell. 5 on your side explains, though, what the warning means and the habits you can do to change and help deal with the stress and demands of parenting. And making social connections, how video games are helping some men find lasting relationships.
And eliminating a prime perk, why Amazon is scrapping its Try Before You Buy program.
While friendship can help make the world go round, heightened feelings of loneliness continue plaguing people nationwide. Ted Linder explains how video games could be bringing people together.
Even though there's billions of people on the planet, the world can still feel like a lonely place.
Over 50% of Americans will feel some kind of social isolation.
Public health experts say it's common for folks to meet in third places.
Places outside of work and school or home. Think of things like coffee shops, churches, bars.
But as these spaces disappear across more communities, new research from Tyler Prochnow of Texas A&M University finds video games are serving as platforms for people to build social connections. This is especially true for men, who typically underreport feelings of loneliness.
Research has shown over the last 20 years that men's close friendships have been declining. The amount of friends, the quality of friendship.
After studying participants' involvement with a football gaming site, Prochnow's research found men felt comfortable making new friends online. And while their discussions were more face value at first,
talking about different aspects of the game, getting advice from more senior players.
Researchers found many got deeper over time.
Those conversations slowly started to mature and change into aspects of real life. For example, one of the conversation topics that we saw in our studies was they were actually talking about moving across the country and how can we go about a job change.
That was Ted Linder reporting. Experts think some men can feel safer with self-expression when they can be more anonymous with it online.
Americans looking for work may be misled by increasing numbers of fake job postings. A hiring platform found that many jobs are being advertised online, but the positions are never filled. Those are classified as ghost jobs. As many as 1 in 5 jobs posted online may be fake or not ever filled. McDonald's is closing down some of its new experimental restaurants. The fast food giant is going to shutter 3 of its Cosmics spin-off restaurants. The company isn't giving up on the idea altogether. Instead, they will open up 2 more in other locations. The company says the smaller prototype restaurant is designed to be an afternoon pet food filler with snacks like drinks and donuts.
Playing it safe, why several local school districts decided to close or delay classes this morning.
6 simple yet powerful words, the message of support from tennis star Coco Gauff to the people of Los Angeles. And here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number 1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Welcome back. We're waiting to find out if any local school systems will cancel or delay classes in our area for tomorrow. Now, some made changes this morning because of potentially hazardous road conditions. WRAL's Laura Levine shows us why Orange County schools decided to call off school today.
We are here near Cedar Ridge High School, one of dozens of schools that will not open its doors to students today. And here's a look why many roads across Orange County look like this. Sheets of ice, snow still left over from Friday's winter weather. Now, this is primarily on the secondary roads we're seeing in northern Orange County. Those slick spots and patchy ice causing some unsafe driving conditions. The sheriff says deputies responded to a couple of crashes yesterday due to these road conditions. One resident says roads in her neighborhood are still covered in ice, and she understands why school leaders would be worried.
I'm from Maryland, so I'm kind of like, okay, let's just be sensible about this. Keep the tire straight, keep going at a consistent pace, and you're fine. If you don't know how to handle it, I can definitely see where some people might be worried.
So as the day progresses, the goal is for that sun to come shining and melting a lot of this ice, hopefully improving the conditions here in Orange County. You can find a full list of those school delays and closings on WRAL.com. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Hillsborough.
Some people encountered an icy parking lot at Apex High School this morning. You can see salt being applied as students were being dropped off for school. Apex police helped guide families through the slick carpool line. Wake County schools did not delay start times this morning.
Sometimes it feels like there's a force field around Raleigh keeping the snow away. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us the two main reasons why snow either avoids the capital city or is short-lived.
One of our producers here showed me this thread on Reddit talking about this force field of basically snowlessness around Raleigh. Now, there's no force field, but there's a couple things that could contribute to the lack of snow in and around the city. One of those at times can be what's called the urban heat island. So when you have more infrastructure, the heat gets trapped. So there have been some cases in the past where you might see some snow a few miles away from the city, but it's 33 and maybe there's some other type of precipitation. But most commonly, and especially what happened this past week, was just our proximity to the warm Gulf Stream, that narrow strip of water in the Atlantic. We're only about 100 miles away from that. So as our storm system started to ride from south to north, you see the wind coming in off the ocean. It introduced this layer of relatively warmer air above the surface. So that's how things were able to change over to sleet and to freezing rain. I think some of you may remember in 2014, the snowpocalypse, right? Well, that started as snow and then it changed over to sleet and freezing rain. Again, a lot of that just has to do with our proximity to the ocean. A lot of times you have to have that depth of cold air, long-lasting cold air, in order to get a true good old-fashioned snowstorm. That did not happen this last time around, at least not within the triangle.
Shucks, maybe next time. You can get customized weather alerts on your phone straight from the WRAL weather app. Download the app and you'll never be alone during severe weather.
The 2024 elections were more than 2 months ago, and we still don't know who won the race for a seat on the North Carolina Supreme Court. It's now starting to grab nationwide attention. The head of the National Democratic Party will speak about it in the next few hours. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran joins us now. Will, so what is it about this story that's making the rest of the country tune in?
You know, part of it is this is the only unresolved election in the U.S., but what's really grabbing people's attention is the reason why this is being tied up in court. Democratic incumbent Justice Allison Riggs appears to have won, but her Republican opponent Jefferson Griffin has sued. He's trying to get the ballots of more than 60,000 voters thrown out. Democrats say he's trying to steal the election using fake voter fraud claims, and that's why they're hosting events like today's national press call.
Okay, so what does Griffin say about this?
Well, Griffin has declined my interview requests on his effort to throw out these ballots, but in court filings, his legal team says the state can't be sure that these 60,000 voters really are who they say they are. His challenges target people who don't have identifying information, like a driver's license number listed in a state database, and Republicans say that violates a federal law that's meant to verify voters' identities.
Will, is it true that the state really has no idea if these voters are real people?
Well, that's a question the courts are going to have to decide, but state officials tell us that they feel confident there was no fraud and nobody being impersonated in the election. North Carolinians had to show ID to vote this year, and if they didn't have an ID, they still had to provide their social security number. So elections officials say that they have verified the identity of all the voters. They want Griffin's lawsuit thrown out.
So what happens next? Will we have a final outcome anytime soon?
Hopefully, we will know soon, maybe even by the end of the month. Both the state Supreme Court and a federal appeals court have been hearing this case, and both of those courts have indicated they want to get this done as quickly as possible.
Will, thank you so much for your insight. And for anyone who wants to know more, you can go to the NC Capital section of WRAL.com. You'll see a new FAQ on this legal battle and a podcast featuring Will breaking it down in even more detail.
Today's your last chance to tell leaders in Raleigh how you'd like your tax dollars spent. The city is holding its final listening session today. It's happening at the Barwell Road Community Center on Barwell Park Drive. That's from 6 to 7:30 tonight. And after the session tonight, the city will begin reviewing the budget and finalizing some of those recommendations. It was a special message of support, the unique way tennis star Coco Gauff thanked LA's firefighters after her match. Plus, no longer the right fit. Why Amazon says it's doing away with its perk of try before you buy. And remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, following some breaking news in the sports world. Mike McCarthy not expected to return as the Cowboys head coach next season. He is now a free agent. ESPN's Adam Schefter posted this to X, saying a Cowboys official says Dallas and Mike McCarthy are parting ways. Chicago Bears and New Orleans Saints, they have taken interest in him. They want to speak with him. The Cowboys missed the playoffs for the first time since 2020. In addition to McCarthy, this is really interesting, his entire coaching staff is not under contract and have the same negotiating window that closes on Tuesday night.
From messages of support to clothing, money, and food, donations are being made to help people in Los Angeles recover from several wildfires there. Disney pledged $15 million to various efforts offering relief in the area. The Walt Disney Company says it is committed to supporting its community and employees to help recover from the devastation. The money is being donated to several organizations, including the American Red Cross and the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank. Beyonce is putting her money where her mouth is. The superstar is not only urging fans to show support for those affected by the wildfires, but her foundation is donating $2.5 million in wildfire relief. The Be Good Foundation earmarked those funds for those who lost their homes, churches, and community centers. Be Good was established in 2013 to help with economic disparities within communities.
Actress Halle Berry plans to donate her entire closet to people who lost their belongings in the Los Angeles wildfires. Berry is urging people who can donate to send in clothing for the thousands of people forced from their homes. Berry shared a video on her Instagram from Co-op. That's a small business located in Beverly Hills collecting clothing and blankets. She says she is working with Sharon Stone on the donation drive. From clothes to messages of support after winning her first round match yesterday at the Australian Open, Coco Gauff sent a message back to Los Angeles. She beat Sophia Kenin in straight sets, and as she made her way off the court, she wrote right there on the camera lens with a marker. And there's the message. Stay strong, LA. Thank you, firefighters.
Nicely done. A moment of reflection and celebration at the Lenovo Center. Thunderous applause as another Carolina Hurricanes jersey rises to the rafters.
To infinity and beyond, how a massive art display is highlighting the ever-moving crowds at an international airport.
Rebels with wheels. Local police departments are teaming up to put the brakes on swarms of ATV and dirt bike riders who are taking over public roads. Now the fight is going from highways to the internet superhighway. WRAL Investigates Randall Kerr is here with a preview of the story we will see tonight at 6. Randall.
Yeah, Jeff, this really is an issue that started to gain speed about 18 months ago. That's when several local law enforcement agencies teamed up to say enough is enough. We're talking about 2-, 3-, and 4-wheelers zipping up and down public streets. They weave in and out of traffic, and many are doing tricks while they're at it. They also have a reputation for failing to stop for a blue light if officers try to pull them over. The concern is not just safety. The vehicles, they're not registered, they're not insured, so if something happens, a car driver could end up footing any repair costs. When announcing the regional task force, Chapel Hill's police chief did not mince words.
If attention is what they're seeking, they're going to get it in the form of charges.
What we found is the attention those reckless riders want is actually being used to help catch them. Tonight at 6, we'll show you how local police are not only trying to catch them on the road, but also online, Jeff.
You mentioned that this task force has been at it, working on this case for months. Are they making any headway on it?
Yeah, they sure are. We're told it's still an issue. Aside from the high-tech police tactics we'll discuss tonight in our story, they're sharing more information, and Durham has an online portal where people can submit descriptions, even pictures and video of the riders.
All right. Tattling on themselves in some cases as
Exactly.
well. We'll see that, yeah. Randall Kerr with the WRAL Investigates. Looking forward to that tonight at 6. Thank you, Renee.
Another number is in the rafters at the Lenovo Center. The Carolina Hurricanes retired Eric Stahl's number 12 during a ceremony last night. Stahl was the Canes captain for 7 seasons. He scored more goals and assists in a Hurricanes jersey than any other player ever. He was also the team's leading scorer in their Stanley Cup winning 2006 playoff run.
The memory that I have of being a Hurricane is being a champion. I mean, I won a Stanley Cup. I only won one. That's not easy to win. I won it here, and there's nothing better than that.
Certainly not easy. Can't believe it was almost 20 years ago. Stahl is the 4th player to have his number retired by the Hurricanes. So good to see him back in town there. He and his family now live in Minnesota, and I think they brought that cold Minnesota weather with them when they came to Raleigh, Elizabeth, because, man, those morning temperatures were chilly.
Yeah, and we got more of that to come Wednesday morning and Thursday morning in particular. Today's going to be sort of a respite today. We take a look at Fayetteville. A good bit of cloud cover there in Fayetteville, but we are seeing this front kind of pushing across the state, and, of course, Fayetteville is kind of one of the last parts of the viewing area that's going to see that front moving through. So that front's going to kick out those clouds here in the next few hours. But you can see here in Raleigh at North Hill, it's looking beautiful, lots of sunshine. In Apex, bright skies, and Chapel Hill too, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. Our temperatures right now are mostly in the mid-40s. That's still pretty chilly. You know, it's jacket or, sweater weather for sure. We'll climb on up into the low 50s, which in the sunshine shouldn't feel too bad. The next storm system that rolls through is on Saturday, and there is nothing frozen that's going to happen with this, even though we're going to see an Arctic blast that arrives late tomorrow into Wednesday and Thursday. That cold air will retreat very quickly back up to the north, and this storm system should bring with it a decent amount of rain. Unfortunately, it looks like it could affect almost the entire weekend. Saturday looks like a definite, and then Sunday just depends on how fast it moves on out. It may be that Sunday in the afternoon the rain moves off to the coast, but we'll be watching the timeline. This is a look at our current situation. Of course, we have our front moving through. It's going to continue to clear out those clouds, and then behind it, our wind shifts to northwesterly. So tomorrow's going to be cooler. Instead of low 50s like we'll see today, tomorrow's highs will be in the mid-40s, and tomorrow morning will be in the mid-20s. So a fairly chilly day. But we do see another push of cold air that comes in during the day tomorrow, and that will drop our temperatures even farther as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Let's jump on ahead to Saturday. This is Saturday at 3 a.m. Look at the wind streams here. The wind streams all coming out of the south, so that's going to be a big warm up with this system, and a potentially significant amount of rain. We'll start here early on Saturday morning. By the time we get to lunchtime, that rain is already here in place. And if you're planning, I mean, gosh, it's snowed so much in the mountains. The ski resorts are looking great, but this weekend they are going to see the rain as well. Now Sunday it may change on over to snow, but this is going to be a fairly warm system compared to what we've seen lately, at least just briefly. Then that moves on out, and we'll pause it there Sunday at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see how quickly that ends up moving out. Let's take a look. You know, the computer models over the last several days have been popping up some interesting things, which is normal. We laugh at it sometimes in the Weather Center, and we say, oh, yep, models are throwing us another fantasy snowstorm. There is the pattern looks plausible that we would see some wintry precipitation sometime in the next couple of weeks, not through this weekend, but maybe the next week or the week after. But this is our 8 to 14 day risk of snow, and it does not include any part of our viewing area. That's from the Climate Prediction Center. And then you can see that chance of snow next week. Earlier, it was a number it's down to 0. So currently, the models have completely backed off any snow for us for next week. But, things tend to change. What we're looking for this far out, 7 to 10 days, is patterns. And we definitely have the cold air in place if we see a low pressure system moving in. But plenty more about that to come. Look at Wednesday, 39 degrees over the weekend. Friday actually doesn't look too bad. We'll see increasing clouds in 53, and then it looks wet for Saturday, part of Sunday.
Thanks for that, Elizabeth. Passengers, we are clear for takeoff. A new art exhibit opens soon at Denver International Airport. What the artist hopes passengers take away from this creation.
Plenty of sunshine out there, and we could see a high of 52. You're looking live at the DBAP, where 2 mornings ago, that baseball field was under a blanket of snow. It's now gone. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. Drivers faced a few remaining trouble spots out there on the roads this morning. Our northern counties were most affected, but Wake County did have its share of issues. That includes at Apex High School. WRAL Sky 5 was up above the school this morning. You see some of that ice there. Wake County Public Schools did start on time today, even as many surrounding districts, including Durham and Orange counties, chose to operate on a delay.
A man is facing charges for breaking into an apartment in Raleigh and threatening to kill the person inside. This is cell phone video from a neighbor showing what happened when he approached. Warren State Horacio Sousa used a knife to break into this home, then yelled at the person inside. He's due in court this afternoon. We will let you know what happens on WRAL.com and in our evening news.
Durham police are questioning 5 people about an early morning chase. The WRAL breaking news tracker was at the Oxford Manor Apartments about 4:30 this morning. Police say they chased a car to that location after a carjacking. 4 people under the age of 18 and a woman were all taken to police headquarters. Officers have not announced any charges yet.
Amazon is scrapping its Try Before You Buy service. Amazon says its program for Prime members to try clothing items before they purchase it will end permanently on January 31st. The service launched in 2018. It was to compete against wardrobe subscription services like Stitch Fix. Amazon says its artificial intelligence tools are more helpful for users on deciding what to buy.
Airports are full of hustle and bustle, but a Denver-based artist hopes his creation makes people just pause and reflect a little bit. Thomas Detour Evans is known for his murals and artwork for the Denver Nuggets, and a new piece will soon be installed at Denver International Airport. The creation, aptly named "It's Not What You Take, It's What You Bring Back." And look at what he's got here working for them now. It is made up of hundreds of donated pieces of luggage. The sculpture in the shape of an infinity sign is designed to make people dream of travel.
So the piece is called "It's Not What You Take, It's What You Bring Back." And it's all about, for me, that endless journey, but it's also talking about luggage, carrying the items that we hold dear.
Yeah, the airport gave Evans a $450,000 budget for the project, which he began in 2021. The finished sculpture will be unveiled later this month.
I love it. Plus, the different colors of the bags, and they're not all black. Today, we'd like to introduce you to 4 lucky hounds from Love Mutts Rescue. Shoku was rescued in Albania and is affectionate, loves people, and petting. Leslie is sensitive and very people and dog friendly. And Pumpkin is kid and dog friendly, loves to cuddle and watch TV. Finally, we have Willow, who has not stopped wagging her tail since arriving at the shelter. You can read all about them and apply on lovemuttsrescue.org.
Going vegan. After Durham's mayor encouraged people to go vegan for the new year, restaurants are joining in on the challenge. And coming up at 4, the pros and cons of adopting that lifestyle.
NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next news update is coming up in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Hope you have a home run of a day here on Monday.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.